Good evening, everybody. I'm John Hobbs, and welcome to the Basketball England YouTube channel for tonight's NBL Live season opener between the Worthing Thunder and Essex Rebels from the Worthing Leisure Centre. However, it fills me with great sadness that we begin tonight's live stream on a mournful tone as we all awoke on Friday morning to the news that London Lions assistant coach Andrea Boland has passed away. It was a tremendous shock to us all in the British basketball fraternity that knew and loved this very special human being that lived and breathed this great sport. An enthusiastic coach of more than 30 years, dedicated to mentoring players around the London area, a respected table official in the British Basketball League when London Lions were not in action, of course, and a person who always wanted to help in any way she could. She will be sorely missed, never forgotten, and on behalf of Basketball England, our condolences go out to Andrea's family and her close friends, including the London Lions organisation at this time. And before tonight's tip here at the Worthing Leisure Centre, there will be 24 seconds of applause to celebrate the life of Coach Andrea. Rest in peace. And with that said, welcome to the Worthing Leisure Centre for tonight's NBL season live opener between the Worthing Thunder and the Essex Rebels. Hello everyone and welcome to the Worthing Leisure Centre, as said, for the NBL Division 1 season opener and the NBL Live season opener here on the South Coast between the Worthing Thunder and the Essex Rebels. John Hobbs alongside former Worthing Thunder and Hemel Storm guard Ian Berry. Ian, welcome. A great night of basketball ahead, but obviously, as said at the very top of the show, we were rocked by the shocking news that Andrea Boland, a dear friend to everyone in the basketball community, had passed away suddenly on Friday morning. You've played in and around the London area. You've lived in the capital for many years. You've got your stories on Andrea, on what kind of influence she had on players, and as a basketball brain, what was her influence like on those players in and around the London area?
Yeah, really sad news to hear about Andrea's passing. As you say, such a widespread impact that Andrea's had on so many players, not just in the capital but up and down the country. And really, my lasting thought on Andrea is that her legacy will be felt all over the country for years to come on the basketball court. You can look out now on this court or any other, and there's going to be players out there that have been impacted by Andrea and the work she's done as a coach, as an officiator, as a just impactful person in the basketball community. And it's just a great loss. It's a sad loss, but we celebrate her life and the impact and the legacy that will last for years to come in basketball.
Absolutely. And tonight here with Worthing Thunder and Essex Rebels, great to be in front of a great crowd, as you can see here, still piling in as we speak. And for us, Ian, I know I said it a few times before during the pre-season tournament that Thunder had, if you were watching on commentary, if you're watching the games there, but we've got fans here tonight, and for you this must be a great occasion, because obviously the last time you were in Worthing, we were calling a game with no fans. It was just down the road at the Durrington High School gym, and no, we're here in front of fans. It must be a great experience.
Yeah, just to see the fans back in the Thunderdome and starting to fill up the stands again. it's fantastic. You know, this feels like a season opener, as it should. Feels like, you know, start of a new season. Obviously, we had COVID season, and we got some games. But as I was talking to Ishmael Fontaine before the game, and he sort of said that a lot of the games last year, they felt like training, felt like practice. And, you know, without fans in the building, it is very hard to get going. It is very hard to build that environment, that atmosphere that we all love to play in. So it should be great tonight. The fans will enjoy it. The players, I'm sure, will love it. And it should be a great night. Good game ahead of us. Absolutely.
And I caught up with both coaches before tonight's game, starting with Worthing coach Julian Stanley, just asking about his views on tonight's opponents, the Essex Rebels.
Yeah, obviously we played Essex last week, but I expect a different game this week without Zaire Taylor playing. We did win last week by 20 plus, but he was quite productive for us, having 12 points, 10 rebounds and 6 assists. So that's a big chunk of productivity gone, so I do expect the game to be a bit closer today.
And just ahead of the season, obviously you guys have, you know, added some new players. You've kept Howard Crawford as well, a big plus for you. You've got George coming into the team as well. You know, what are the hopes for this season for you guys?
Yeah, we have big hopes because last year was difficult with the pandemic. We felt we underachieved in the league. Obviously, we brought Jared Dixon as well this season as well, so we're hoping to be at the top of the table.
Cool. That's great. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you. Did you get that okay? Yeah. Cool. Right. And then, obviously, we caught up with Essex coach Ross Norfolk. There was a bit of technical difficulty there, but we caught up with Essex coach Ross Norfolk before tonight's game as well. Lost to Worthing last week in the L. Lynch Trophy. Start of the season, a brand new season for you guys as well. You know, you're playing Worthing. What do you know about them given from last week?
Okay, yeah, obviously it was a massive hand. It was really helpful for us, obviously, having them in the Lynch last week. We know that they've got some key guys, and for us today, we've got to make sure we know where their key guys are all the time and try and keep to our scout that we've been working on this week. And if we can do that, I think we'll have a chance.
Obviously, this is your second season in NBL 1, promoted last couple of seasons ago from Div 2. It was a very strange season with the pandemic and everything. What will be different for you guys in this new season?
Sure. No, obviously the pandemic was a big shock for everyone, but I mean, I think for this year what it will be is the atmosphere within the gyms will be totally different, and I think for us as well, playing at this level with that crowd behind is going to be a big test for some of the young boys. So yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest difference for us, the crowd and the atmosphere within the gyms.
So as we cut to the two teams, we'll start with the Worthing Thunder. And Ian, you know, loads of familiar faces as we are aware. Tom Ward, Jack Sunderland, of course Julian Stanley, the head coach. But you know, who is standing out for you tonight?
Yeah, as you say, loads of local talent. For me, looking at the team as constructed tonight, obviously a couple of big losses without Howard Crawford and Zaire. But for me, Hafiz Abdul is going to be a nightmare matchup and can get buckets at any time, and he's going to be a problem.
And just a last-second addition to the Worthing Thunder team that only was added about an hour ago. Ben Grassi, one of the Thunder juniors, will be suiting up as well tonight. He'll be wearing for the Worthing Thunder. Going to the Essex Rebels. And as the lights go out, as tradition here at the Worthing Leisure Centre, a nice mix of youth, university students. Obviously, they're all based at Essex Uni, as is Ross Norfolk. You know, they all know each other pretty well. You know, what are your thoughts on this Essex team?
Yeah, as you say, they're young. Although they're young, they're not inexperienced. They've played together a long time. They've been in Division 2. They've felt promotion together. The core is really, really talented. They're going to play fast. They're going to get after it. They're going to pressure the ball. Expect to see a lot of full court defense. Expect to see a lot of pressure on the guards. And they're going to really try and turn the tempo up. And that's going to be what we're going to see from them.
And as the two teams are brought out to the floor, starting with the Essex Rebels, of course, no Zaire Taylor tonight. No Howard Crawford, of course. He's in the country. Obviously, he's on the bench tonight, but he only arrived here today. George Ebanks is quarantining as we speak, having arrived from New York on Tuesday. So this is not a full-strength Worthing Thunder team that we'll see today. So do you think that plays into Essex's favour just a little bit?
I mean, of course, when the names that you just spoke about, George Ebanks, Zaire Taylor, Howard Crawford, these kind of guys that are missing from the game, you could start a team right now with those and you'd be competitive in Division 1. So taking them away from any squad, of course, is going to impact the team. But it lets the other guys have a chance to step up, and there's no lack of talent on that Worthing team. Essex will love the fact that some of the key guys are missing, but it's on the other Worthing guys to make shots, to make plays, and to make it tough for them. So we should see a great game tonight.
Worthing Thunder will be wearing their limited edition pink kits tonight in promotion of the awareness of breast cancer, the dangers of breast cancer, and obviously various charities that you can go online and donate for the cause. And of course it affects thousands of people nationwide, worldwide, so a great cause that Worthing Thunder are promoting for today.
Yeah, and just on that as well, Ishmael Fontaine is also wearing a Billy and Beyond t-shirt, which is raising awareness in the local area for mental health issues with children. Shout out to the mum, which is Nikki Parrish.
Absolutely,
shout out to her, great cause, and Ishmael is trying to raise awareness for that. Jump on the Instagram, which is Billy and Beyond, and find out more information there.
Absolutely, Billy and Beyond, a fantastic cause there, and Nikki Parrish doing some great things in the local community, no doubt about it, as our cameraman running with the Worthing Thunder players. That's great to see, as we are about 3 minutes from tip-off. So Worthing will be in pink, Essex will be playing in black. It's been absolutely thundering it down with rain all day here today. There was actually a brief chance that we might have even played this game without fans tonight, but thankfully that is not the case. Fans are in the building. There was a little bit of flooding around the centre circle as we arrived this afternoon, but that was cleared up, and the ceiling is about secure. But this is a very old building, an iconic venue for basketball around the country. Of course, you've played here many times, Ian, on this court. It's synonymous with British basketball history, the Worthing Leisure Centre. Yeah,
it's changed. It's changed in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways it hasn't changed at all. Seen games here for 20, 25 years. I've played in some. I've been a part of crowds. I've commentated. This is one of the hubs for basketball in this country, and yeah, as we said, it's great to see the fans back in, and we got a good game, so should be a great night.
Absolutely, and this kicks off a 14-game NBL Live schedule. 30th of October, we'll be in Bristol as the WNBL coverage tips off with the Bristol Flyers and Anglia Ruskin University meeting. The two teams that had to forfeit or pull out last season due to the pandemic, but they are back for this season, and it will be great to see both teams in action in the southwest. But we're on the south coast tonight. We are moments away from tip-off here, and it's always fun to come to the Worthing Leisure Centre. This is our first look on NBL Live of the Essex Rebels, and speaking to Ross Norfolk, of course, we spoke a little bit off camera as well. Very eager to avenge last week's Elle Lynch Trophy defeat.
Absolutely, yeah. As he said, it's great to have seen a team and played them in a competition before you get to league, but on the Worthing side, it's tough to beat a team twice. So the Rebels will adjust. The things that they didn't do so well, they'll look to do better, and they'll be sharpening their strengths as well. It's going to be up and down. It's definitely going to be up and down. I expect to see a high-scoring game, and Essex were going to be up for it. Just watching them in the warm-ups, they look raring to go. All of their guys are ready to go. I don't think they have any key injuries out, so yeah, they'll be licking their chops right now to try and get an early dub in the season that maybe not too many people would have expected, and get out to an early start.
And as we said earlier, this is probably a good time to play Worthing. No Howard Crawford, no Zaire Taylor, no George Ebanks tonight. So I'm just going to let you all know that you are tuning in to the Basketball England YouTube channel. Welcome everyone, John Hobbs alongside Ian Berry, bringing you all the action this evening. Our game day, our NBL Live game day sponsors, Wilson, Sports Serve and Dynamic, and adding to that, Sport England and Sure Shot. Great to have additional sponsors for NBL Live this season, bringing you action all across the country in both the NBL and the WNBL. So we are seconds away from tip-off, and Ishmael Fontaine just
as he loves
giving
to do.
away his jersey.
Customary Ishmael Fontaine engagement
Absolutely.
with the crowd. He loves it.
Many some supporters upon his signing for the club for a 4th season, many fans actually said that there wouldn't be a Worthing Thunder without Ishmael Fontaine. They couldn't picture it. He does so much for the community of Worthing and West Sussex beyond that.
Yeah,
and,
he's become a big part of this club.
Absolutely,
Massive
definitely
part of this
has. And great to have Dave Owen on board tonight. It is great to have NBL Live back, and it's great to have NBL Live back with supporters as well. As both teams will make their way to the court, starting 5s for the Worthing Thunder. Hafiz Abdul, Kevin Moyo will start, Jack Sunderland, Jared Dixon and Tom Water. Kevin Moyo starting in place of Zaire Taylor. Tom Child, Josh Moore, Rory Winter, Jordan Gray and Aid Atiba will start for the Essex Rebels. And of course, as we mentioned at the very top of the show, we are going to have 24 seconds of applause to celebrate the life of Andrea Boland, who passed away on Friday. And we are back as the 24 seconds of applause beautifully observed by both teams. And of course, 24 seconds of applause across the BBL, WBBL and the NBL and WNBL have been observed today. So here we go, start of the NBL Division 1 season. As said, Thunder in pink and the Essex Rebels in black.
Let's go.
Even you're getting hyped up.
You know.
I think it's just a small matter of the clock, I think, just stopped. Always happens at the start of a game, I guess. And we are underway here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. Here is Tom Child. Looking inside, finds it in Gray. Gray driving inside, nearly stripped there by Dixon.
And you can see early they're looking to go at Kevin Moyo with that size advantage.
Nice move inside, but a travel has been called on Atiba as the shot clock was winding down, and that'll be a Thunder possession. Here is Jared Dixon, who had 33 points when these teams met last week in the L. Lynch Trophy at the University of Essex. Here is Dixon driving to the hoop. Ward, wide open three for Tom Ward, and that's the first points of the night.
That's money in the bank. You can't leave Tom. That is money in the bank.
Gray finds Moore. Moore on the spin, and he's going to go to the foul line. Josh Moore, who hit 4 3-pointers last week. He'll be definitely one to watch for the Essex Rebels tonight, and one that Worthing Thunder coach Julian Stanley knows quite well as well.
Yeah, he's dynamic. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot it a little bit. He's one of their kind of in-between guys that can get it done on both ends. Good defense there from Jack initially, but Hafiz caught him on the help side, just on the arm a little bit, and he goes to the line.
And Josh Moore, who is an 82% foul shooter for the season, or for last season, excuse me, so in relatively safe hands from the foul line, as one of Thunder's well-known volunteers nearly slipped and gave us a little smile there. Richard Clark, a very well-known volunteer, works very hard
He's part of the furniture.
for Worthing Thunder.
He's been around forever, hasn't he?
And the 82% that I mentioned earlier was just a little bit off. Maybe the commentator's curse, I don't know.
Yep, curse of the commentator. You got him, you got him.
Of course, this game tips off a 14-game NBL Live schedule this season. 7 NBL, 7 WNBL games on tap this season. Of course, teams across the league doing their own live streaming. Great to see that we can view the NBL and the WNBL so frequently now, as Abdul inside for the dunk.
Yep, that's going to be there all night for him. He's too big, too strong, too quick. Good pass from Tom Ward there.
Julian Stanley wanting Hafiz Abdul to go inside a bit more this season, as Jordan Gray with his first points of the day.
Yeah, he's talented. Jordan Gray can fill it up.
Abdul puts up a three, knocks down a three.
Yes, sir.
Hafiz Abdul with a statement of intent early.
Inside and outside threat.
All of a sudden, John Gray with the floater and a fast-paced start to this game. Moyo almost stepped into a three there, instead kicks it out to Ward. Here is Abdul, double team coming, and a steal there. And Essex 1-on-2. Gray all the way, banks it home.
Fantastic
Jordan
finish.
Gray.
Yep, and this is the pace we're going to see all game long. Essex trying to get out in transition, trying to push the ball, getting the passing lanes. Fast start to the game.
On paper, Essex a faster team than Worthing, as Moyo puts up a three. Moyo, on the other hand, one of the quickest guards in the league.
Yeah, they call him Flash.
Here is Moore. Nearly lost it. Gray puts up a three. That's short, and Ward comes up with the rebound. Abdul.
Yep.
Abdul spots it for three.
He can do that.
You can sense that both teams just struggling to get into their rhythm here, as Sunderland going all the way.
Yeah, it's a little bit frantic, but that's how it's going to be. It's early season. Both teams are trying to make a fast start. It's a really fast pace of the game right now.
Winter spots up for three and knocks it down. Rory Winter, who had 21 points last week against the Thunder.
He's so much improved in that area of his game. He used to put it on the floor really well and not shoot it so well. And now he's very dynamic. He can get it done on both ways. Speaking of which,
and again, Tom Ward for two. Both teams not having a problem shooting the ball at the moment. As Essex will slow it down.
Yeah, trying to look inside here.
And Moore gets it. Slight mismatch with Moyo. Moore, beautiful footwork there from Josh Moore, stepping inside Kevin Moyo and going over Abdul.
What a move. They're really looking to exploit that mismatch inside when Kev has to switch.
Here is Dixon to Abdul. Here is Ward for two, and Tom Ward puts in a long two. Here is Child. Child up and under is no good. Here is Sunderland going all the way, and his foul has been called.
Yeah, great aggressive take by Jack. He's got to do that all game long. He's got to put the pressure on him to get back on defense. Great tempo to this game so far.
As you can see the replay, Jack Sunderland going strong to the hoop. And a very fast-paced start to this game as Worthing lead 14-12, not even halfway through this first quarter so far.
Yeah, as expected, up and down. I think it's going to be about which team can look after the basketball and make those possessions count. At some point, the game's going to slow down a little bit, and then we'll kind of see what each team's got in the half court as well.
Sorry, just having slight microphone difficulties there as Jack Sunderland goes to the line for the extra shot.
2 for 2.
Always good to have little issues as NBL Live starts for a third season. Wouldn't have it any other way. Here is Moore looking for a Tiba inside, but it will be a Worthing possession.
You can see Worthing, a lot of switching on defence. There's going to be a lot of matchups inside that Essex is going to try to exploit. Just look for that early on and as we go through, whether they stay with that switching or not.
Moyo. Fighting around the screen, kicks it to Tom Ward, a mid-range jumper, and that's money.
I told you, that's my boy.
And a timeout has been called by Ross Norfolk of the Essex Rebels. And as said, Ian, it's been, as we see the replay of Tom Ward's jumper, beautiful angle there. One of the smoothest shot releases in the league, Tom Ward. And as we mentioned earlier, it's been a very fast-paced start. You'd like to think that this favours the Essex Rebels in the long run, but Worthing Thunder really making a name for themselves, getting up and down the floor really quickly at the moment.
Yeah, and although I think it will favour Essex in the long run over 4 quarters, if Worthing are able to get out and get a lead for the second half, which is something that Coach Stanley talked about earlier on, their experience will come through. They're able to manage the game maybe a little bit down the stretch. They've got older heads that have been there, guys like Tom Ward, Ishmael Fontaine. So that's really their game plan, is to break the game open early and get that lead and control the game. If they can do that, they're really going to put the pressure on this Essex team. On the flip side, Essex aren't going anywhere. They're going to get up and down all game long for 40 minutes, and they'll play at this tempo the whole game. So it's going to be a real contrast in styles, but right now they're just meeting fire with fire, and we've got a really fast tempo game.
As you can see, Julian Stanley just giving some last-minute instruction to his team, and Julian, he actually, he's grown up here in Worthing, used to live just down the road, went to school at Durrington High where they played last season, so he is Worthing through and through. Of course, former teammates yourself. Julian as a basketball brain, what does Julian mean to this community and to Worthing Thunder?
Well, Julian used to be the water boy for us when I was playing here, so he's come from being a part of the club and helping out, and he's come through the ranks as a player, and now he's a coach. It's great to see that,
A three-pointer rattling around and out. Here is Child. Nice footwork there from Child, but nothing doing. Jared Dixon comes up with it. Sunderland. And Thunder will slow down. Tom Ward. Moyo in the corner. And the ball will go out of bounds. It will stay a Worthing possession. Josh Moore not liking that call. He thought it came off a Worthing player last.
And these are the shots that these Worthing role players are going to have to hit, without the likes of Zaire and Howard Crawford. They're going to get these open looks in the corners. Got to knock them down and punish them.
And you can see the referee did get that right. That came off an Essex player last, as I believe that was Tom Ward with the bucket. Here is...
It's T. Ward again. It's a saucy Saturday.
Here is Moore for the Rebels. Child. Looking for the screen from Atiba. Moore puts up a three. That's way off.
Yeah, that's a really nice possession from Worthing's point of view. Get around the screen, contest a shot, late shot clock, and get stopped.
38% three-point shooter last season was Josh Moore. 20 points last week in the loss to the Thunder in the L. Lynch Trophy. That win actually for the Thunder sealed their place in the next round of the Lynch Trophy.
Ooh, come in.
Jared Dixon puts in a two.
Yeah, nice move. Slammed on the brakes. See you later, knock it down.
And Thunder with 22 points, and we're not even 3 minutes away from the end of the first quarter. Still about 3 minutes 50. Winter puts on the brakes too long. And Ward with the loose ball.
Yes, sir.
Abdul thinking about the three. Moyo, Ward, they spin the ball around nicely. Tom Ward puts in another three.
Listen, if Tom Ward is making shots like this, it's a long night for anyone.
Absolutely.
Long night for anyone. You don't let him get going. He is cooking.
And Tom Ward is now 5 for 5 from the field. Excuse me, 6 for 6 from the field. Second three-pointer of the night. Tom Ward, he moves on to 14 points. Abdul. Moyo. Moyo gets in on the act. Kevin Moyo and Thunder with their fourth three-pointer already. Tom Child is long on the follow more. Worthing Thunder, though, shooting the ball fantastically well. They're picking their spots and they're making no mistake from downtown.
Yeah, absolutely. Lights out early doors, and they've run it up already.
And here, there was Ward. Ward gets the ball.
Got to be aggressive now. Yes, sir.
Ward for another three. He puts in another one. Oh, Tom Ward is
Saucy
out of his
Saturdays,
mind
baby.
in this third quarter, in this first quarter.
Saucy Saturdays, baby.
Winter looks to answer, and does. Rory Winter from downtown, and both teams shooting the ball very well. Sunderland all the way, counted, and a foul.
What a pace. Great pass, great catch, great finish.
And a blistering pace to this first quarter. As Ishmael Fontaine comes into the game for the Thunder, a group substitution for the Essex Rebels. Mayo Adedi will come into the game for the first time. Matthew Dizu. Ray
as we see the nice catch and finish there from Jack.
Absolutely. Ray Akpafuri coming into the game as well.
I love how Worthing are looking to run on makes and misses. You know, Essex come down, they knock a three down. Worthing get it out of bounds, they fire it over the top, and they get an and one. Hit them right back. The pace is crazy right now.
Absolutely. Tyler Mutamasango also into the game for the first time for the Rebels. And here he is on the ball. Akpafuri. And a foul has been called on Hafiz Abdul. And Ray Akpafuri, a player who needs no introduction to the British basketball community, a well-known player, has been around the block a few times, a great player. You know him very well, and obviously you two had a chance to chat pre-game. What was he saying?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. We talked a little bit about what they're trying to do today, but Ray brings good energy every time he steps on the floor, and he's going to go head first and drop his shoulder and go at people, and if he can get Hafiz in some foul trouble, that's going to be handy for
here
Essex.
He is on the ball, and he puts it in on the follow. The miss by Mo Adepoju, who's into the game for the first time as well.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what Ray does.
Getting into the final 90 seconds of this very fast-paced first quarter at times. We're not even keeping up with the action as a foul is called on Akpafuri. That's his first. Of course, welcome to the Basketball England YouTube channel. If you've just joined us, Worthing Thunder lead the Essex Rebels 34-21. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Basketball England YouTube channel. So much great action going on today, tonight, throughout the entire season. Of course, highlighted by 14 NBL Live encounters. Adepoju for three, no good. Tipped away from Sunderland, collected by Ward. Here is Fontaine. Jared Dixon. Fontaine driving baseline, and he's going to go to the foul line. It was well contested, but just a bit too much for the referee there.
Yeah, Ish did a great job of getting to the baseline, got to the spot first, moved his body into him, and he gets the call. You can see Essex have got sort of the bench crew in there right now, as we see Ish going baseline. Strong left-hand drive. Yeah, just gets his body into the defense and makes it tough. Maybe a little bit of a tough call, but,
That'll be Matthew Dizu's first foul of the night. Kevin Moyo will come back into the game. Jack Sunderland will take a breather as Ishmael Fontaine makes the first. Again, another reliable free throw shooter, Ishmael Fontaine.
Yeah, Ish's a great shooter. Puts the time in. He's in the gym more than most. Good release.
Again, one of the more underrated shot releases in the league. Ishmael Fontaine, a lovely release He's perfected that down over the years, a wily veteran, Ishmael Fontaine. Here is Mutama Sango. Adie almost lost the ball. Here is Mutama Sango again on the spin. Beautiful move, misses the two.
Yeah, that Thunder defense is really good right now.
Here is Dixon. Dixon spots up for three.
2 for 1.
As we enter the final 30 seconds of this first period, here is Disu looking for Akpa Fury, nothing doing. Moyo lost the ball. Good pressure defense there from Disu. Ward. Shot clock is still on. There's about a second differential between shot clock and game clock.
Yeah, we're going to see Tom go to work here. Look for Tom to go to work. Look at that pull-up off the left hand.
Ward puts up a three. Another one for Tom Ward.
Cooking.
Tom Ward just cannot miss in this first quarter. 39-21. What a first quarter for the Worthing Thunder, and in particular for Tom Ward.
Yes,
who has 20 points.
God damn.
7 for 7 from the field. 4 3-pointers in that tally. What a first quarter, but what a first quarter for Worthing Thunder as a whole. They shot the ball very well, 76% from the field. And if you're Ross Norfolk, what will you be saying to your guys right now?
I mean, if you spoke to Coach Norfolk before the game and you said, look, we're going to score 21 points in the first quarter, it'd probably take it, you know. They're going to score close to 85, 90 points for the game if they average that. But Worthing put up 39 points. So you've got to look at your defense. Worthing are coming down the court very quickly. They're open to taking early shots, early shot clock. So Essex needs to step up a little bit and, you know, put the pressure on the ball handlers, put the pressure on the first and second pass. At the moment, Worthing are just making shots. And it's tough if a team's going to do that. But you've got to force those shots to be a little bit tougher. They can't be walk-in threes. They can't be catch and shoot. Force them to go by you. Force them to make the extra one. Run people off the line. You know, do some of those things that gets the extra effort going and see if you can keep them down. There's no way that you can allow a team to score 39 points in a quarter and have any hope of staying in the game. So it comes down to their defense, and we'll see if they can pick it up second quarter.
And Tom Ward had 35 points when Worthing Thunder defeated the Thames Valley Cavaliers in the playoff quarter-final. He almost couldn't miss that night either, but in this quarter especially, absolutely on fire. 8 for 8 from the field, 4 for 4 from downtown, 20 points so far for Tom Ward. And there was that comment of Saucy Saturday, which used to be quite a popular saying in the pre-social media days, that Tom Ward would just put up an effortless performance each night, and it was dubbed Saucy Saturday. And he's bringing that back here tonight. Yeah,
he's just a guy that once his confidence is up and he starts making shots, he's a problem. And, you know, that's where he's in right now. He's in that zone. So you got to get him the ball and watch him go to work. As
Kevin Moyo is called for the travel. 39-21 as we start the second quarter here at the Worthing Leisure Centre in what has been an incredibly fast-paced, blistering tempo. It's almost like we needed a break just from talking about it. It was so quick, and a whistle has gone.
I'll take this tempo all night.
That's just you as a basketball player talking. I barely played in my day, so.
I've seen you making shots earlier.
That 1-inch vertical still rings true these days.
Messages are flooding in for me, telling me that Tom Ward needs to behave himself. No, he doesn't. He needs to keep going. He needs to keep cooking them.
Here is Moyo for the Thunder. Well, it's been raining all day here on the South Coast, and Tom Ward is making it rain, no doubt about it. Here he is on the ball again. Tom Ward going inside, and a whistle has gone. I think that'll be a foul on Adepoju.
Just while we have a break, looking in the chat, shout out to some of you guys watching. We've got Martin Ford out there. Shout out to you. And Nick's Clips couldn't make it to the game, but they're at home watching on the stream, so shout out to you guys. We've got Mark Stellard in the chat. Said talk about Winters 3. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of action right now. It's hard to keep up with all of it.
That, surely. We were talking about that, weren't we? Dixon all the way for the layup.
Great take.
Of course, Rory Winter with 6 points right now, 2 for 3 from downtown. Here he is on the ball. And three-pointer from Motima Sango is no good. Here is Moyo.
And that's a good look, but the difference in the game right now is Worthing's making those shots, and Essex are struggling to generate those looks consistently and then knock them down at the same rate.
Absolutely. Thunder shooting 73% from the field, almost like a video game statistic as Abdul off the glass.
Yeah, they finally missed.
Bit of a heat check there for the team, and nice battle under the or near the basket on the elbow, and it'll be an Essex ball as Thunder lead by 20 in the early stages of this second quarter.
Yeah, the one thing that's for sure about this game is the pace is going to change at some point. You know, you're not going to put up 39 points every single quarter, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when that does happen and it slows down and which team can kind of keep hold of the game at that point. But right now, Worthing off to a really, really hot start.
Absolutely. Here is Child, back to Motima Sango. Here is Child again. Child looking for options. Winter putting the moves on Fontaine.
Good move, nice move.
Yeah, Fontaine straight away put his hand up and a wry smile on his face. As Jack Sunderland checks in, as we see the foul. Bit hard to see from that camera angle, but Fontaine straight away putting his hand up. I think he had his hand on the wrist as it was as he was on the spin.
Yeah, it's a nice quick move from Winter trying to get to the middle on his left side. And when Ish cuts him off, he does a great job of countering. And I think we're going baseline out of bounds.
Of course, that play came before the shot went up, so Essex will keep possession, and they'll keep possession again. As Adeyeye was about to collect the ball, but Essex will retain the possession. Child. Motima Sango. Here is Winter. 6 to shoot. Rory Winter putting the moves on Abdul, going all the way and misses the layup. Fontaine comes up with it. Dixon putting on the Jets, on the spin, blocked. I think that was by Dizu, and it's going out of bounds. It will stay a Worthing possession. Matthew Dizu with the block there. Great defense from him.
Yeah, and again, you see Worthing just really putting the pressure on him, yeah, just running out. Dixon's tough in transition. The way he changes speed, the way he can stop and start, really, really puts the pressure on the defense to get back and make a play.
As Matthew Dizu will take a seat, Jordan Gray will come back into the game for the Rebels as Jared Dixon will go to the foul line for the Thunder. Of course, first professional contract for Jared Dixon. Zaire Taylor, who's not playing tonight, but he's kept a very close eye on Jared Dixon throughout his time at MSU. Of course, Zaire Taylor went there himself. He's a Missouri boy. You know, he's had an electrifying start to this campaign, especially in the L. Lynch Trophy. He's averaged around 21 points at the moment. Yeah,
he's found his feet quickly, and that was something that Ishmael was talking about pre-game. Ishmael Fontaine was saying that he's really been impressed with Jared, how he's found his feet, and he's adjusted to the tempo and the rhythm so fast, and he's a leader on this team already.
Winter. Motima Sango wide open for three. That's long.
It's another good look.
And another offensive rebound, but good hands there from Jared Dixon. And a good catch by the table officials there. Because if they didn't catch it, that would have hit our cameraman and we would have had some issues.
No, you got them hands. I know you catch that ball.
Child.
Yeah,
nice move there from Child to create some space, but off with his two.
Essex just searching for some offense right now. Someone to get going, get them out of their funk a little bit.
Fontaine wide open in the corner. Both teams going cold from the field. It's actually stayed at this score for around 2 minutes now. Child, nice footwork inside. And I think Tom Child's going to go to the foul line for 2 shots, and I think that'll be Ishmael's second foul, and it is.
Yeah, and you see this from Tom a lot. He's really good at getting out and changing speeds. You know, going one way, slowing down, speeding up, and just a nice little Euro step there to draw the foul.
While we have a slight break in play, some other scores around the National Basketball League Division 1 so far. The Oakland's Wolves and Hemel Storm in the Hertfordshire Derby at Oakland's College. Hemel Storm coming away with a 117-55 victory. And for Oakland's, it's definitely about rebuilding this season. A lot of their academy players are playing. It's more about experience for those guys. Hemel, of course, very strong roster led by Taylor Johnson, led by I almost got my names mixed up. That's embarrassing.
They got the MVP.
They've got the
from last
MVP,
year,
Greg Polion, as well. Almost got tongue-tied there. But for Hemel, they're going to be up there amongst the top three this season. A very strong team. That's not a surprising scoreline in any sense, but for Oakland, it's about fighting. It's about learning and progression for them this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Young team. There's a few of those kind of teams in Division 1, and that's a rough start to the campaign, having to face a team like Hemel, who are established. They've got really, really good veterans. They've got good imports. Get a great crowd. Tough start for them, obviously, but it's just one game. They'll go back to the drawing board. They'll look at what they can do better, and I'm sure they'll bounce back. But Division 1 is tough. There's no easy games.
Now, apologies to all at the Hemel Storm. I almost forgot about the other players' names as we were just reeling them off. Of course, former Solent Kestrels player Jonathan Lashley is with the Hemel Storm as well. And Solent and Reading are battling it to the death at the moment. At the last I checked, Solent were up 66-62 with 48 seconds remaining in their encounter at the Solent Sports Complex.
Yeah, locked in a good game. Be a shock for sure if you see Solent lose at any point. They don't seem to lose games anymore.
Of course, Solent, last season's triple winners. They won the league, playoff and L. Lynch Trophy. Sweeping the board as Abdul puts up a three. He's a former Hemel Storm player. Of course, he was the backup to Greg Polion last season. Did a great job when Greg was out injured for just a few games.
Yeah, he's definitely nobody's backup this season.
Absolutely.
That's a starting player, and he can be a star in this league.
Jordan Gray. Child. Driving inside. Stop. Pull up is good.
Yeah, that body control.
Tom Child.
That body control from Tom Childs. And we see the pressure here. They like a 2-2-1. Might see them drop back into a zone. As Kev just burst through it. One-man press break.
Sunderland in the corner. That's a two. He stepped on the line. Winter. Inside it goes. That's beautifully done. And Mayo Adiyeye with the score.
Yeah, and here's that pressure from Essex. It looks like token pressure, really just trying to slow Worthing down and get him late in the shot clock, which I like. I like the adjustment to get him late in the clock, get him having to move the basketball a little bit. Not so comfortable.
Moyo from NBA range is off. Child. Putting the moves on Abdul. A little bit of a mismatch there, but Abdul recovers, gets the block, and it'll be an Essex ball.
Yeah, Fees is one of those guys you've got to beat more than once. You beat him off the dribble, you feel like you've got an angle to the bucket, and then he's right there blocking your shot. Good recovery.
.5:44 remaining in the second quarter. Child in the corner is way off. He was 1 for 8 when these teams met last week from downtown.
He's not going to miss those all night. If they generate those looks, they're going to start falling.
Here is Abdul. Ward kicking it to Moyo. Moyo finds Abdul, drives to the hoop.
Tough.
And Hafiz Abdul going all the way. And that will count. Referee's just checking it over. Yes, it will count. Hafiz Abdul making use of that height advantage he has, getting it in for two.
Yeah, a lot of driving kick action there. And then you see that as Kev drives middle and kicks it to Hafiz, he's just going to attack the seam and try to get to the middle and create a problem. Just as we see him rip and go. And then, of course, with that big, strong body, he's able to get out and finish. Tough finish at the basket.
Absolutely great awareness of the basket and strength to keep the ball. As Hafiz Abdul misses the extra free throw. Worthing lead 45-27 with 5:10 remaining in the half. Gray. This is the free throw line jumper.
And the pace is still fast here, but you can see the shot making has calmed down a little bit. Hafeez again.
Absolutely. Both teams really struggling from the field here in this second quarter. In fact, only 12 points total have been scored in this second quarter. You'd never guess that considering the fast start we had with Thunder putting up 39 points to Essex's 21.
And this is what we talked about earlier with Worthing's game plan being to get out early and get that lead and then control the tempo of the game. And that's what they're trying to do right now with Essex coming right back at them and trying to get on a run themselves.
And into the game for the first time for the Rebels, Harry Harwood. There he is wearing number 6 as Hafeez Abdul to the line for 2 shots. And, both teams last season finished with 9 and 10 records. So, very similar in that aspect, but it's very different this season. And speaking to Ross, he anticipates a much different season, a much tougher season. This is probably the toughest league the NBL has been for many, many years. So he expects a fight every weekend. His team step onto the floor.
Yeah, I think they've caught a few teams off guard in the past.
Absolutely.
But everyone knows about them now, and they're ready. They're on the scout, and they're ready to play.
Well, they beat Worthing last season as Abdul goes all the way and banks it home. They actually beat the Thunder at the University of Essex last season by 30 points or around that area.
Hafeez starting to get going now with 9 points.
Inside it goes to Adey and he scores. Nice find there from Rory Winter.
Yeah, great pass.
4:12 remaining in the half, and the gap is 20 in favour of the Thunder.
And now you see Thunder starting to get into their sets a little bit. Tough
Beautiful move from Dixon, counted and a foul. Jared Dixon finding a little room inside and exploiting it. And as you can see the replay here, beautiful take from Jared Dixon.
Great rejection of the screen there just to get baseline and then put the help side in a tough spot. They come across late and they got to make a play at the rim. Really, really tough to stop him when he does that.
So if you've just joined us on the Basketball England YouTube channel, welcome. Coach Castillo giving a shout out to you, Ian. Great to have you, Coach, on board and giving you a nice little shout out. And
yeah, that's Coach Clive. Does big things up in London for Brent, the Brent Community Basketball, over at Westminster University as well. Great guy, great coach. Shout out to Coach Clive.
Lou Grant's comment. Tom Ward's been cooking since the Brighton Bears days of the under-16s.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Myself, Tom Ward and Lou Grant played on the same team. Under-18s, under-16s, and Tom's been doing this his whole life,
Absolutely,
He's had that skill set and that motor the whole time, and it's just a joy to see him in play every single time.
Amongst some of those areas he's perfected his game at the Brighton Beach Courts, where, of course, many Worthing Thunder players go to play during the summer. The iconic Brighton Beach Courts. Ishmael Fontaine almost spent every day there alongside Solent Kestrel's guard Brendan Okoronkwo, and if you're following him on social media channels, always on his stories of performing and playing at the Brighton Beach.
Yeah, plenty of legends been built on the Brighton Beach Court. As we see Tom Charles just really, really aggressively attack that hard hedge and get to the bucket. Really nice take on his right hand.
Abdul wide open for 3, but he's short and gets the ball back. And a travel has been called on Abdul. Almost a wry smile on Hafeez Abdul's face as he took that ball, but the referee's calling a travel. As you see the replay there, that was a beautiful take by Tom Child going inside. Stolen, though, the pass from Child. Here is Abdul, collects the ball. Sunderland out to Ward for 3. And a bit of a heat check there for Tom Ward as he misses his first shot of the night, and he's fouled.
Tom's feeling himself right now.
It only took 9 attempts for Tom Ward to miss his first.
Yeah, and Tom's just one of those guys that once his confidence is up, he's a tough cover, and he's feeling it right now. So every time he gets the ball, he's going to look to be aggressive.
Absolutely, and a timeout has been called by Coach Ross Norfolk of the Essex Rebels, and it does say it took 9 shots for Tom Ward to miss his first field goal of the evening. But what an impact he has had, especially in that first quarter. 20 points, but as Lou said in his comments, he's been doing this pretty much his entire basketball career. what has changed for Tom Ward? It's just nothing, has it?
Do you know what? Like anyone who knows Tom, anyone who's ever seen Tom play, won't be surprised by seeing him have a first half or a first quarter like he had. He's got the ability to put it on the floor. Really, really nice tight handle. He can pull up left and right. He can make the three. And once he gets going, he's a nightmare to guard. And on top of that, he's always in fantastic shape. So he gets up and down, he gets to spots, he passes and he moves like few others do. And yeah, he's filling it up right now. 20 points and looking to add to it.
Tom, a co-director of BTM basketball in the Brighton area, offering international basketball tours to help aspiring professional players to improve their development, get them to see different aspects of the game, both on and off the court, around many areas in Europe. Of course, one of the favourite destinations he's gone to, Barcelona in Spain. And one story that Brendan Okoronkwo told me a few weeks back was, in the National Trophy final in 2019, where Tom actually went to Florida, I believe it was, on a tour, and came straight off the plane, got in his car, drove straight to the University of East London for that trophy final, and his first possession, didn't even warm up, first possession, drained a three-pointer. That's just so Tom Ward,
That's Tom Ward, yeah, that's Tom Ward. Full commitment and just a flat-out baller.
Didn't even have a warm-up, just came straight off the plane, straight to the University of East London, on the court, drained a three-pointer. Putting all of us to shame. Tom Child's strong take, and Abdul with the rebound. If you've just joined us on the Basketball England YouTube channel, welcome everyone. Worthing leading the Essex Rebels 56-31. John Hobbs, Ian Berry keeping you company here tonight. Tom Ward on the turnaround is good. That's beautifully done from Tom Ward over two Essex defenders as well.
It is officially a saucy Saturday.
DJ Glenn Richardson just turning around. He must have heard you
Look
there.
at that turnaround.
There's Muta Masango.
Thing of beauty.
With
Tough
the
shot.
travel. 2:25 remaining in the half. Fontaine.
Essex to the zone now. We see a 2-3. I don't know
Ward
if it's the smartest thing I've ever seen.
But he's got a bit of a heat check again as Abdul gets the offensive rebound. Fontaine sets his feet, puts in a three. Ismail Fontaine, an underrated three-point shooter, but he can knock him down when needed.
Now, when his feet are set and he's in rhythm, he's a great shooter. And Essex in that zone, just trying to find a way to break rhythm right now, but Worthing just not letting him off the hook.
That's a tough move there from Rory Winter.
Really tough, really tough.
Puts it in for two. Abdul driving inside, got it stripped by Harwood. Harwood now one-on-one with Tom Ward, and Harwood blows the layup. Didn't even hit the rim with his attempt. Sunderland for three. Ward with the turnaround jumper.
My
Tom Ward
God.
just can't miss right now.
See Ward in the building. Tom up to 26 and counting. 1:10 to play in the half.
Child putting the moves on Ward. Child going all the way. Good defense there from Ward. Here is Harwood. Harwood with the pull-up jumper, and that's good. Harry Harwood, who blew the layup earlier, one-on-one with Ward, made no mistake with the short jumper. As we enter the final 45 seconds of the Tom Ward half, it must be said.
The T Ward show.
Sunderland. Fontaine spots up for three and knocks down back-to-back triples. Ismail Fontaine getting in on the act.
One thing you know is that Ish is going to let you know about it when he makes a shot.
Muta Masango off the glass, too strong. Dixon, who's had a relatively quiet first half, he's not needed to do much. And the shot clock is turned off, so Thunder will have the final possession of a high-scoring first half. And here is the man with the hot hand, Tom Ward.
Yeah, only one person taking this shot as he winds it down.
Absolutely, 26 points. Putting the moves on Harwood for three, and that's long. And that is the end of the first half here at the Worthing Leisure Centre, where the Worthing Thunder take a commanding 31-point lead over the Essex Rebels, 66 to 35. I've mentioned it was the Tom Ward show to end the half, and you're not going to disagree with me on that.
I mean, anyone who's watching this game can see what the story of the game is. Tom Ward up to 26 points, 10 of 12 from the field, 6 of 6 from 2, 4 of 6 from 3. Just an unreal first half. And he just put them on his back right now.
Absolutely.
Just won't let Essex get a minute to breathe, keeps knocking down shots, and unbelievable half for him.
And Hafiz Abdul with 13 points to support Ward. Not much of a supporting cast in terms of scoring, but they've contributed in other areas of the court because all they've needed to do is pass the ball to Tom Ward.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's obviously made some big shots, but he started out pretty simple. It was drive and kick. He had some open space. He's knocking down open ones. He found his rhythm, and now he's made some tough ones as well.
Absolutely.
As you mentioned, you've got Hafiz chipping in with 13, and you've got Ishmael making a couple of shots. You've got Jack on the scoreboard, so they're keeping it ticking over in the gaps, and right now they're just on fire as a team.
Absolutely, and we'll get to the Essex Rebels at half in just a second, but we will leave you for a few minutes and we'll be back in around 3 to 4 minutes' time.
often that.
And welcome back to the Worthing Leisure Centre, where the Worthing Thunder lead the Essex Rebels 66-35 at the half. And it's all been about one man, really. Tom Ward, 26 points, 10 for 13 shooting. And we spoke about Worthing Thunder before we went to the break. Didn't have enough time to talk about the Essex Rebels, Ian. But for them, it's been a tough half, but you'd like to think there's still hope there for this young team in making this game a little bit competitive going into the final two quarters.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest positive for them in terms of the scoreline, if there can be a positive about a 30-point lead for the other team, is that it is halftime. It's not the fourth quarter. It's not even the third yet, or end of the third, and there's still time in the game. Now they have to chip away. They have to find some success on the offensive end. They've got to slow down Tom Ward, if that's possible. And they just have to try and get a foot in the game a little bit and get a run. Just have the next run, the next 7, 8, 10-point run, and then force Worthing to make an adjustment to change the way they play and keep grinding. It's not going to happen in one possession or two possessions now. They've got to chip away and just and keep getting after it, keep trying to break into this massive lead that's been run up.
Absolutely. Essex shooting 39% from the field. Rory Winter leading them with 8 points. But one of the statistics that jumped out at me straight away was they took 11 3-pointers, only connected on 2 of them, whereas Worthing Thunder are a incredible 8 for 19 from downtown. That's of course mainly down to Tom Ward, 4 for 7 from 3-point range. But for Thunder, it's all about keeping the momentum going and just keeping where they left off, basically.
Yeah, I think they'll try to start out at a fast tempo, but it's game management now. You're up 30 points. The pressure is on the other team now to get back in the game. So you want to look after the basketball. There'll be times when they run longer offenses, and they'll be fine with that. You don't necessarily have to come away with points every single possession. So if they end up late in a shot clock, it's not a disaster. And it's on them now to control the game and use their experience and come away with a dub.
And it's been opening night in the NBL League and the WNBL League throughout the country. Of course, a few scores to give you. We'll start with the WNBL first. Solent Kestrels coming away with a 77-53 victory over the Barking Abbey London Lions. Ipswich, the reigning champions of the WNBL, coming away with a narrow 62-56 victory over the Thames Valley Cavaliers. And the Worcester Wolves claiming a 63-56 win over the Bristol Flyers at the University of Worcester Arena. In the NBL, Oakland's, of course, we touched on this earlier. Hemel Storm defeating Oakland's Wolves 117-55. Newcastle Eagles defeating the Bradford Dragons 91-67. Nottingham Hoods, who've had an incredible season thus far, especially in the L. Lynch Trophy, their first game, a 92-66 win over the Loughborough Riders. And one of the games of the night across the M27 from us over in Southampton, Solent Kestrels, a narrow 69-64 win over the Reading Rockets. That game going down to the wire. Of course, our good friend Rebounds Chris Hughes was on the commentary in that game, a thrilling game across the M27 in Southampton.
Yeah, and that's obviously Solent, undoubtedly the favourites at the moment every single season in Division 1. So for Reading to run them close like that just shows their strength going into this season. And that's a team that's going to be competitive and going to be right up there at the top of the league, or would expect to be when they come that close to getting a scalp.
Absolutely. Cole Gentry with 17 points, 5 assists and 4 rebounds in the win in Southampton tonight. A narrow victory, it has to be said. Here we go, start of the third quarter. And here is Tom Ward, the hot hand. He's gone cold again, though, and here is Gray. Gray putting on the Jets off the glass. And on the follow, beautifully done there by Ada Tiba.
Yeah, and that's what they need, that extra energy, that extra hustle. Get after it. Don't accept it when your teammate loses the ball or misses a shot. Go get that rebound.
Hafiz Abdul Long with his triple. Gray off the glass. Gray, no good. Atiba again on the follow. Back-to-back buckets.
There he is.
In quick succession for Ada Tiba.
Yep, big fella putting his stamp on the game.
Abdul. Abdul driving at Atiba off the glass. Beautifully done from Hafiz Abdul.
And Worthing just continue with that 1 or 2 pass offense, take the first available look, and it's been working for them, so why not?
68-39 to the Thunder, early stages of the third period. Here is Child. Nice pass inside to Atiba for the dunk. And Aid Atiba with 6 quick points to start this third quarter.
Yeah, he's a presence in there, you know, the biggest guy on the floor.
Aid Atiba, who plays very well in spots, and you can see it here as Hafiz Abdul responds with a 3.
That's always going to be the problem when you got a guy like Atiba out there. Sure, he's helping you on the glass and he's able to contribute that way, but is he active enough to guard a guy like Hafiz? It's going to be an issue down that end.
Moore kicks it out to Child. And here is Gray. Back to Child for 3, and Child strings it.
Yep, he can make shots. He can make shots, and they're generating good looks. They continue to do this, they're going to be able to chip away at this lead.
Abdul putting the moves again on Atiba. Nearly banked in the 3. Here is Child. Inside to Gray. Beautiful move. Great footwork and great use of the body position there.
Yeah, and you can really see the emphasis of them coming out and pushing the tempo, getting out in transition. Great finish from Jordan Gray with the left hand.
Sunderland. Had it knocked away by Gray, and Gray comes up with it. And Jordan Gray with the bucket. Jack Sunderland contested, and a quick timeout by Julian Stanley. He's seen enough. And like you said, Ian, you know, it's all about getting small runs, getting that confidence going for the Rebels, and they've done that so far.
Yeah, perfect start to the second half for them. Starts with defense, as we've seen Jordan Gray strip Jack Sunderland there and get out and run and get the left-handed layup. But yeah, perfect start for them. Starts on defense, run out, put the points on the board, and just chip away. Just chip away at the lead.
And they've outscored the Thunder 13-5 in this third period. And just again, before we go into the action, quick shout out to our game day sponsors for NBL Live. And a special thanks to our official ball supplier, Wilson, SportServe Dynamic, Sports England, and Sure Shot, who are sponsoring NBL Live for the 2021-22 season. Great to have you guys on board here tonight on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Great action throughout the country in both Division 1 men's and Division 1 women's. And of course, the next time NBL Live is on your screen will be in the southwest of the country. We'll be in Bristol, as Bristol and Angela Ruskin will meet in WNBL Division 1 action. Of course, those two teams had to pull out last season due to the pandemic, but they are back this season. Bristol starting their campaign with a loss to the Worcester Wolves today. As you see the replay of a quick on-the-ball foul, or off-the-ball foul there, I think that was on Atiba. Abdul driving inside, misses the layup. Here is Gray. Gray going inside, banks it home. Jordan Gray for 2.
That's a great push, but that's poor transition defense from Thunder. They've got to pick the ball up and slow him down, at least at the three-point line, ideally at the halfway line. Someone's got to slow the ball down.
Ward, nice pass inside to Dixon. Great find by Tom Ward. Gray finds Atiba. Winter slowing it down, putting the moves on Abdul. Abdul standing his ground. Tough shot there by Winter. On the follow, though, was Moore.
There's those extra hustle plays, those effort plays that we talked about. That's their only way back in the game. They've got to out-effort and out-hustle Worthing. They've done a good job so far.
Worthing lead 73-52, but Essex have definitely trimmed the lead in this third quarter. They started very well, and while we have just a second, great to have Worthing Thunder player George Ebanks on the live stream. Of course, George Ebanks is isolating at the moment. He touchdown from JFK Airport on Tuesday and is isolating in London as we speak, as Dixon going all the way. And here is Child.
Good find.
Child finds Moore for three. That's a dangerous spot for Josh Moore, but he missed the three. Dixon. Finds Ward. Putting the moves on Atiba, a little bit of a mismatch there. Tom Ward with the pull-up jumper short, but Worthing get the ball back again.
And that's his shot at his spot, as we've seen all first half. We're just missing one.
Sunderland off as well. Good defense there and good court awareness from Tom Child.
Yeah, good fight for the loose ball.
Absolutely, and Essex will get possession back. And the gap was 31, so Essex have trimmed 10 points off this deficit so far. And, you know, Ross Norfolk's got to be happy with what he's seeing at the moment.
Yeah, and Jordan Gray up to double figures with 12 points. He's come out really strong in transition. And he's a player who can create one-on-one. Look for them to maybe get him in some ball screen or get him attacking the rim and see what they get off of it.
And Jordan Gray, the only Essex player in double figures thus far. Tom Child has 9 points to support him. He's shooting 3 for 13, though, from the field. But Essex slowly getting their shooting percentage up. They're shooting 46% from the field, but they're getting a lot of those buckets inside, which is what they need to do. They've been struggling from downtown tonight. Off the glass is no good from Gray.
And there's that ball screen we talked about, just getting him in ball screen, putting him in position to score.
Sunderland is long for his three, and Dixon comes up with the loose ball. Abdul. Fontaine, contested three. And the loose ball is collected by Child. That's his 5th rebound of the day.
The work rate's gone up now from Essex. They're forcing Thunder into extra pass, extra drive and kick, and it's tougher. It's a tougher game out there.
Ward. In a sense, both teams just struggling a little bit in this spell of possession. Here is Abdul going at Atiba off the glass.
So good going left and right. That's twice now he's taken off the dribble and gone to the left hand. Finished effortlessly.
Moore. Gray looking from the screen from Atiba and gets it. Kicks it out in the corner. Child to Winter. Winter finds a bit of room inside, misses the layup, and Sunderland comes up with the loose ball.
Yeah, great move from Winter. He's just got to make a layup at the rim. Maybe felt some contact, ref didn't see it.
4 minutes left in this third quarter as a poor pass from Ward acknowledges that, and Abdul gets it out of bounds. Essex possession. Another stop, though, for the Rebels.
Absolutely, and Worthing just leaving the door open here. If they can keep chipping away at this lead, get it down to 15 to 12 points, then going into the fourth quarter, you give yourself a chance.
And great to have Brendan Okoronkwo on the live stream as well here tonight. Of course, his team defeating the Reading Rockets 69-64. And a rattle around three there from Child. Almost collided with Dixon. Abdul. Contested jumper. That's good defense from Atiba. And again, another stop from the Rebels.
Yeah, really good from Atiba. Just holding his ground, not leaving his feet too early, and then contesting, using his length. Great defense.
Essex, though, really need to convert these stops into points. Child driving inside. That's a tough move and a foul.
Fantastic finish. Fantastic finish from Tom Child.
You can just see off the camera a little look of concern from coach Julian Stanley. Of course, as you see in the replay here, this is a tough move from Tom Child.
Just comes off that screen and snakes to the inside, gets his body on the help side defender, and then a nice soft touch off the glass. Great move, great finish.
And of course, for the Thunder, of course, no George Ebanks, no Howard Crawford, no Zaire Taylor tonight. So, a lot of the scoring having to go to Tom Ward. Of course, he's had support himself, namely from Hafiz Abdul and Jack Sunderland. But Essex again chipping away at the lead. The gap is now 20. And that might not seem much, but considering what it was earlier that, Thunder, their biggest lead of the game was 31 points.
Yeah, they'll be looking to get it down into single digits, but you can't get it down into single digits until you get it down to 10, 12, 15 points, and that's what they're doing.
And a foul has been called. That'll be on Rory Winter. That's his second foul of the night. And Jared Dixon will go to the line.
And no surprises here with Essex that they've got some fight in them. This young team together all the time, playing university basketball as well as National League ball. They're not going to go away. Just because they're down a bunch at the halftime, they've been there before. They're not going to go away. They're going to keep fighting, and it's good to see. They've got 3 minutes now. If they can get it down close to single digits, then we're going to have a really, really exciting fourth quarter. Absolutely,
a tremendous program at the University of Essex, and just recently they just held a equality and diversity seminar, and promoting that, which is so important with everything that's going on in the world and the need for equality. They're out there and they are showing what they can do, and they're promoting it to the highest ability. Winter.
Worthing just starting to look a little bit leggy out there. A little step behind. Essex ball movement.
Child for three is long. Big rebound from Moore, but turns it over to Dixon. And Dixon came off someone's foot. I couldn't quite see it as Ross Norfolk and the official were in the way. Child going all the way to the hoop. Beautifully done by Tom Child.
Another nice take. He's really good at that. Really good at finding the body of the defender and neutralising that contact.
Sunderland looking for options, finds it in Dixon. Dixon all the way, lays it up and in. Open season for Jared Dixon.
Yeah, and that's a backbreaker for the Essex defence. They've been working so hard, and then they give up a straight line drive. Great take to the bucket for Dixon.
Gray, open three. Worthing wanted to travel. On the follow was Atiba, and Atiba having a strong third quarter. That's 10 points for Atiba.
He's been huge for them. If he can keep that up, they've got a chance.
Atiba shooting 5 for 5 from the field, all in this third quarter. Abdul
Can't
for
leave
2.
him.
Abdul strings it for 2.
Can't leave him. That's a missed assignment. That's 3 points.
81-59 to the Thunder. 140 remaining in the third. Josh Moore way off with his three-point attempt. Usually a really decent three-point shooter. Jared Dixon way out. Abdul collects. Fontaine. Baseline jumper is good for Ishmael Fontaine. A great scoring night so far for Ishmael. He has 10.
A really nice offense, more driving kick action, good extra effort from Hafiz to set the possession up with the offensive board.
Winter. Gray for 3, and he nails it. Jordan Gray from downtown, 15 points last week and 6 assists.
He's up to 15 now.
Final 40 seconds of the third period. Abdul makes a little bit of room. Tom Child driving, missing, and Abdul with the rebound.
Yeah, they've gone 2 for 1 there. They've shot early in the clock so they can get another possession before the quarter's out.
That's 12 rebounds now for Hafiz Abdul to go with 20 points. And a big steal there from Sunderland.
Fantastic
and he
hustle
gets the
from
ball.
Jack.
And Dixon, you could just about call that a dunk. In fact, the referee's waved it off.
Yeah, it's a little baby dunk. Great hustle from Jack to keep it in bounds. They get ahead. I think he just loses the ball on the way up.
Yeah. They're calling it offensive interference on Jared Dixon, who dunked the ball. It pinged out, as you can see on the replay. It pinged out of his hands and it went in. But, of course, Jared hanging on the rim, and the referee's not standing for that.
Yeah, as we watch it again here, he just loses it as it goes over the top of the rim. And that's going to be offensive interference. He pulls the basket down and it drops through. No basket. 10 seconds left.
Shot clock turned off. Final 10 seconds. Gray. Inside to Atiba, who lays it in. What a third quarter this guy is having. 12 points for Atiba. And a great third period for the Essex Rebels, who struggled in the first half. gave up loads of points, were down 31, but they've clawed it back and have outscored the Worthing Thunder 29-17 in this third period.
Yeah, exactly what they would have been talking about at halftime. Let's come out fast, let's put a dent in that lead. And although they're still down 19 points, it now looks respectable. It looks like they have a chance to get in this game. The work's not done. They still need a strong fourth quarter. But with the performance of the big fella out there, he's on the glass every time. Guys like Jordan Gray starting to heat up, Tom Child making shots. They have a chance. We've got a fourth quarter.
Absolutely. And for Worthing, Hafiz Abdul with 10 points in that third period for 23 points, has 13 rebounds as well to go with that, as you see on the replays of Hafiz Abdul's third quarter for the Thunder. Tom Ward held scoreless in that period, but Hafiz Abdul picking up the slack.
And yeah, this is the struggle playing against a team like Worthing. Even though they're not at full strength tonight, missing some of their key guys, you start to shut down Tom Ward and you think you've got control of the game. And now a guy like Hafiz Abdul gets after it, and as we see on the replay, Jared Dixon gets to the basket, and they can continue to keep that scoreboard ticking over. Just so many weapons on this team offensively, and it's tough to defend.
Absolutely. And you spoke about Essex going on runs at half time. They went on a 9-0 run sometime in that third period, and they outscored Worthing in the paint as well, 48-24. So it's time for them to utilise that strength and just keep away, chipping away at the deficit further. Yeah,
there's no doubt that's what they need to do. Get to the basket, continue to attack, create good looks inside out, and really the big fella has to keep doing what he's been doing. He's up to 12 points, got 4 offensive boards, 10 boards total, 6 boards total, and he's just really getting it done on the offensive end. I mean, rebounding wise on the defensive end, Worthing don't seem to crash the offensive glass, so it's any man can get a board and they can get out and push. But offensively, he can just keep putting the pressure on that rim, following up every single shot attempt.
So the start of the fourth quarter here, and straight away Jordan Gray was fouled.
And that's what they're going to do, keep putting the pressure on him. Attacking aggressively.
Absolutely, that's a foul on Hafiz Abdul. That's his first foul of the night. In fact, that was a foul on Jared Dixon. That was his first foul of the night. Child. Winter steps into a 3, but misses everything, and it will be a Worthing ball.
Yeah, tough night for Winter. He's had some good looks. He's missed some makeable shots. Game's not over. He's got to keep his head up, keep playing.
Here is Dixon for the Thunder. Dixon going all the way, finds Sunderland. Great extra pass to Fontaine in the corner. And more with the rebound.
That's good basketball. Coach Stanley will take that every single time.
Great play there from Child, deceiving the defense, and he's going to go to the line for 2. Almost lost the ball as he was driving to the hoop, but reclaimed it and will go to the line for 2, as you see it there in the replay.
Yeah, Child and Jordan Gray, Moore, these guys are relentless. They will keep coming at you. 40 minutes, they're going to keep coming at you, keep putting pressure on the front of that rim. They're giving themselves a chance.
And Ray Akpafuri will come back into the game for the Rebels. Ada Tiba, who had such a strong third period, will take a seat. And it's good, for Essex to have a veteran head like Ray Akpafuri on the floor right now, just to guide them through the next few minutes and see where they can go from there.
Yeah, and he's a veteran head, but he's also an energy guy. He's going to fight for every loose ball, every offensive rebound. So I'm sure he's out there for that as well. And as you say, he can steady the ship if they need it.
Fantastic support, as usual, here at the Worthing Leisure Centre. Not allowed to be at full capacity due to certain restrictions because of the pandemic, but a fantastic crowd here on the South Coast.
Yes, sir.
Always noisy, always full of enthusiasm for the Thunder, as Tom Ward puts in his first basket of the second half.
Yeah, Tom with a little shake and bake pull up. That's his bread and butter.
Gray going all the way, and Tom Ward with the loose ball, nearly lost it, and Gray gets it back. It's 1-on-1. Child goes for 3 and puts it in. Tom Child The gap is now 17.
Yeah, they're pushing. Big possessions here for Worthing. They can get a couple of scores here. It really, really hurts the Essex chance of making a comeback. But on the flip side, if Essex can get a couple of stops, they're right back in it.
And the ball goes out of bounds. It will go to Essex as well. Ishmael's pass to Abdul. Abdul wasn't expecting the pass. And another stop for the Rebels.
Yep, high energy, little hot potato there. Essex need to capitalise now and put some points on the board.
Here is Gray. Gray loses it. Sunderland comes up with it. And here is Fontaine. Fontaine finds a bit of room inside. Beautiful footwork from Ishmael Fontaine.
Great move from Ish, but that's unacceptable if you're Essex. You know, you've got a possession that you need to score on. You not only get an empty possession, but you give up a layup at the other end.
And bodies on the floor. Fontaine down, but Hafiz Abdul has gone down hard, and he has stayed down. And that's a worrying sign for Julian Stanley as Hafiz Abdul gets up but is grimacing and walking a little heavily there. And Kevin Moyo is going to come back into the game for the Thunder, and Ishmael Fontaine will take a seat.
Yeah, nice contributions from Ish today. He's made a couple of threes. He's got that layup in transition. He's got himself 10 points. That's exactly what they need from him.
Absolutely. Fourth foul on Fontaine. So that foul was on Ishmael, but it was a hard fall for Abdul, who has stayed on the floor. As you see there, Howard Crawford only arrived in the country this morning, not suiting up tonight.
And we're starting to get into now or never territory for Essex. They've got to string together stops and scores before this game gets gets away from them and they don't have enough time on the clock.
And a whistle has gone. I think that was on Jordan Gray. It is. That'll be his third foul. So Worthing keep possession with 7:51 remaining.
Good pass.
Moyo was open for three and kicked it out to Sunderland, who was heavily guarded. And Ward with the pass, and it goes out of bounds. And you were even looking at that as well, thinking that might have stayed a Worthing possession. And
yeah,
it hasn't, and it will be an Essex ball. But Julian Stanley has called a timeout.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll go with the ref's call on that one, but as you
can't quite see it on the replay there, can you?
Yeah, a little deflection might have been missed. These things happen. The refs are out there. They're doing the best job they can. You know, without the refs, the game doesn't happen. So we go with their call.
And great to have so many people contributing on the YouTube channel. Some great comments. Great to have Brendan Okoronkwo, as said, on the feed, and a little story that Brendan told me that a former Worthing Thunder player, of course, spent 6.5 seasons here. His mum is apparently Gloria, still a Worthing fan. So a little bit of a family feud when Worthing and Solent go head to head. But either way, great to have Brendan on the stream tonight, and great to have Gloria as well, his mum, on there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen her in the streams before, and she's always supporting, always excited. Must be tough when, as you say, when Solent and Worthing match up. Must be tough.
And I can now assure you that I will probably be blocked and unfriended by Brendan. I will get numerous threatening text messages from him, but I'll stay at that, I guess. Thunder lead 88-70 with 7:43 remaining here in the fourth quarter at the Worthing Leisure Centre. Of course, this starts a 14-game schedule here for NBL Live. Of course, the next time we'll be on your screens will be in the Southwest when the Bristol Flyers meet Anglia Ruskin University in the WNBL. So it'll be great to be on the Southwest and catch those two teams in action. Of course, they were forced to pull out last season due to the pandemic. Great to have them on board, though, this season.
And in the break there, we just missed it. They changed the call, so it's actually Worthing ball, and they're going to get it side out of bounds.
Absolutely. You have to say the right call, really. I mean, we couldn't see it properly on the replay, but from where we were, it did look a Worthing ball. But Abdul will go to the foul line. In fact, no, an offensive foul has been called. As Fiz Abdul with a very confused look on his face.
Yeah, and that in the business is what we like to call a makeup call.
I'm staying clear of that one. Bit of full court pressure here from the Thunder as Essex look to add to their total and cut the deficit further. They were trailing by as many as 31. Thanks to a first half onslaught from Tom Ward, he's quietened down a little and Essex have picked up the pace. Turnover there, here come the Thunder again. And Moyo creeps over the timeline and slows it down.
Yeah, that low dribble, he loves it.
And another turnover on the other side, and here come the Rebels. Gray all the way. A bit of a bat around under the basket. Child gets it and a foul, and you can see what that means to Tom Child. Big bucket for the number 5, and Essex now with a chance to cut the deficit even further.
Big time finish, you know, they keep attacking the rim, they keep putting pressure on the offensive glass. Massive rebound for Tom Child, a good finish at the rim, another and one.
And you have to say the momentum at this moment, it seems to be with Essex. Even though Thunder have what you could see as a comfortable lead, Essex have chipped away slowly but surely and are starting to make this a more competitive game.
Yeah, there's no question. For them, they can't turn the basketball over. They got to get stops and scores, and just got to do it quickly. 7 minutes on the clock, not much time left.
3-point play converted by Child. And he now moves on to 22 points for the night. Sunderland. And turns it over again. Moyo, though, probably the quickest player on the court, gets it back. Sunderland, 1 on the shot clock. Sunderland gets it off in time and scores.
And that's big. That's big for Worthing, just to stem the bleeding a little bit and get back in, get their rhythm back. Essex was starting to build that momentum.
11 points for Jack Sunderland here tonight. Moore for 3. Rattles around in and out. Akpafori on the follow.
There's that energy.
Moyo. Moyo looking for options. Good pressure defense there from Moore. Here is Sunderland. 6 to shoot. Sunderland loses it. And it will be an Essex possession.
Yeah, they've really picked up that defensive intensity in this third and fourth quarter. Just getting after it on a one-on-one basis and playing with that intensity.
Child. And a foul on the floor has been called. And that'll be on Sunderland. That's his second foul of the night.
Yeah, just fighting through that screen a little too aggressively. Gets called for the foul.
And Tom Child, who has had 13 points in this second half alone, didn't have a very good shooting night in the first half, just shot 2 for 12 from the field, but he's picked it up. He's 33% from the field. Here he is at the foul line for the Rebels. Makes the first, and it's so important to, at this period, to make your foul shots. Child 6 for 6 from the charity stripe.
He's a talented guard, and for all young players out there watching, just an example that if it's not going your way early in the game, stick with it, keep playing, play hard.
Here is Dixon. Really important period here, this for the Thunder. Dixon. Moyo for 3 in the corner. That's good. And Ross Norfolk has seen enough. He wants a quick timeout to just rally his troops around with 5:27 remaining. Thunder lead 93-77. That was a big bucket there for Kevin Moyo.
Yeah, good timeout. As we said, it's starting to get to sort of now or never moments. 5:27 on the clock, 16-point game. And they're just going to have to put some points on the board and string together stops and scores, as you see Kev from the corner knocking it down.
A big bucket there for Kevin Moyo. As you can see, Julian Stanley just giving some instructions to his guys. It's almost a case of just keep this momentum, just be patient on offense and make your shots.
Yeah, for Worthing, as you say, look after the basketball, be patient, take and make good shots. The pressure's on Essex. The pressure has been on Essex the entire second half. They've done a fantastic job, and coach will be saying to them now, continue with this work rate, continue to speed them up. And it's the opposite for Worthing. They've got to slow it down, make sure they control tempo of the game, get good shots.
I'm just seeing as Thunder just getting into the huddle there, and you just saw Howard Crawford in the background there in the white hoodie. All game long, you could just see him just twitching his feet. He really wants to get out there. Obviously, he only landed today, not really familiar with any of the new plays that Julian Stanley has brought in, or up to that match fitness, but just wanting to be on the court, that enthusiasm showing for Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they put him on the floor, it only adds another dimension to what they already have. Matched up today, Essex have pretty much just the one big, but they're going to play teams that have a lot of size, and he's going to be valuable to them.
Averaged nearly a double-double last season, 17 points, 9 rebounds, shooting 57% from the field, Howard Crawford. He'll be in his second season with the Thunder. Inside to Apafori, misses the layup. It's a bat around the basket. Ward comes up with it. Ward kicks it out to Sunderland. Big shot, short. But he'll get his own rebound, and Thunder will slow it down. Abdul, inside. And Abdul will go to the line for 2 shots. Hafiz Abdul, at the moment, shooting 4 for 5 from the charity stripe for his 23 points.
Yep, he's effective, and if you're Essex, that just can't happen. You get back in transition, they miss a transition 3, you've got to come up with the board. Offensive boards are going to kill you at this point in the game, and that leads to Hafiz going to the line for 2 more.
And Hafiz misses the first free throw. Worthing at the moment lead 93-77 with 4:52 remaining. As we look to get our scoreboard back up and running very shortly. It's just momentarily been disconnected as Hafiz Abdul splits his free throws. Moore. Child, who's had such a strong second half. Here he is still on the ball. Turnaround jumper for Tom Child, and it just about goes in. Gap is 15.
Yeah, then he stops now.
A lot of time, 4:20 remaining. Dixon putting the moves on Winter. Good defense there from Winter, and another stop from the Rebels. Gray. Moore.
Big possession.
Child was thinking about the 3. Sunderland came out to meet him.
He's going to have to be aggressive now.
7 to shoot. Child loses the ball. Hafiz Abdul comes up with it. And here is Moyo. Ward. Ward finds a bit of room inside. Nearly lost it, but I think a foul was called. And I think that would be on Josh Moore.
And that's that veteran head from Tom. Just to slow it down for a second, lull the defense asleep. And then nice little crossover to get in the lane. Draw the foul.
Found a bit of room, but you could see Josh Moore there with too many hands on Ward. 3:43 remaining. Both teams on 14 fouls. Here is Moyo. Extra pass to Sunderland. Back to Moyo. Wide open for 3. Child again with the rebound. That's Tom Child's 7th rebound to go with 24. Moore.
Yeah, tempo is key now. Look for them to slow it down, move this basketball. Hafiz got other ideas.
Absolutely, Abdul. Moyo going inside, and Kevin Moyo will go to the line for 2. And great balance from Moyo to stay on his feet, rather acrobatically.
Yeah, Kev's quick, good rip through, draws the foul just before he gets into his finish, and he's going to the line.
Almost Matrix-esque from Kevin Moyo at 5'7", attacking the rim with no fear. Of course, a guy, another veteran player, second spell with the Thunder. Of course, he won the national trophy with the club in 2019. Spent last season in Italy's 4th division. And a time or a substitution to be made as Moyo will now take a seat. Fontaine will come into the game.
Yeah, nice impact from Kev. 6 or 7 points off the bench. You know, controlled the pace a little bit, handled the basketball.
Gray. Winter fakes his man, puts in a 3. Rory Winter from downtown.
Big shot, Rory Winter.
Gap is 13, and you can see Essex just pressing a little bit here in the final 2 minutes, 40 seconds.
Just feel it might be a little bit too little too late. You know, 2:30 on the clock, not much time left to get
Never
this
know
lead
in
down.
basketball though, Ian. Never know. Ward, this will be a big score for Tom Ward, but he doesn't make it. Winter with the rebound. Essex's bench jumping up and down at the moment.
Great pass.
Gray inside, puts it in. Timeout, Julian Stanley.
Yeah, great pass, great finish.
A much-needed timeout for the Worthing Thunder. Essex, all the momentum is with the visitors right now, and you say it might be too little too late. Essex having other ideas right now.
I mean, tempo they play at, we saw in the first quarter, they can get up and down as quick as anybody. So if they're able to do that, get stops, get out and run and finish and get to the foul line, you know, they have a chance in this game. It's still an 11-point game, 2 minutes to play. You know, 2 minutes is a long time in basketball, 2 minutes 18 in the fourth. So it really comes down to stops. Worthing just can't put the ball in the basket. If they do that, the game's going to be over. You know, so for Worthing, they've got to generate good looks and try to finish this game off. And for Essex, they've got to try and speed them up, create turnovers, bad shots, get out and run.
Absolutely, and Tom Child with 26 points, 18 points now for Jordan Gray. He had 15 last week, but you know, has stepped up his game a little bit more here tonight, and when it's most needed for the Rebels. And you know, Jordan Gray, what a story for that. This guy, a product of the London West Side and St Charles College Academy, but has risen through the ranks of the Rebels from when they were in Division 3 to Division 1 in his 5th season, and more than holding his own in this league.
Yeah, I played against him a couple of seasons ago in Division 3, in Division 2, and you know, he was effective, but he's put on some size, he's put on some muscle, he's quick and he's relentless.
Big 2 minutes here for the Thunder in order to keep their composure as Essex with all the momentum. Dixon all the way. Dixon bumped by Gray, and Essex come up with it again. Winter,
big
another
shot.
3. And this one's off this time, and Abdul with the rebound. And here is Abdul. That's 14 rebounds for Hafiz Abdul, and a score at the other end.
What a finish. His left hand, unbelievable.
These tough possessions meaning everything right now for the hosts. Gray over Fontaine.
Nice pull up from Gray, getting to his spot.
Dixon. Fontaine. Ward. Fontaine steps into a 3. Big shot for Ismail Fontaine.
That's the dagger right there. Nice look from Tom in the post. Double comes, finds the open man. Ishmael locks it down.
And Thunder bring up the 100 with that 3-pointer from Ishmael Fontaine. That's his 3rd 3 of the night. 3 for 5 from downtown. 1:17 remaining, and as you say, Ian, that might be just one step too far for the Rebels, but 1:17, a lot of time left in basketball, and a lot of time to make a very quick run and to make, you know, this a nervy ending for the Thunder.
Yeah, of course, the game's not over. Thunder have to see the game out, but with a 14-point lead, 1:17, some good veterans on the Thunder roster, you would expect them to see this one out. Obviously, Essex now, they've got to put some shooters on the floor. They've got to try and get some quick scores. Time is the enemy, so if they're going to have any hope at all of making this a nervy ending, it's going to have to be something quick and something miraculous. You know?
Absolutely. 1:17 remaining. Tom Ward leading all scorers with 29 points for the Thunder, 26 of those coming in an electric first half. Hafiz Abdul with 24 points and 13 rebounds for the Thunder. And for the Essex Rebels, Tom Child leading the way with 26 points, and Jordan Gray adding 18 to that tally.
Yeah, and Andrew Brown on the live stream saying respect, 30 down, almost got there for the Rebels, and absolutely credit to them for the second half effort. Absolutely,
a lot of credit to the Rebels, but they'll want to see this one out strongly. Gray puts in a short 2, gap is 12. Almost lost the ball there. Dixon going in on the trailer.
Nice cut from Dixon. Nice find from Sunderland.
Of course, Rebels now will be taking risks defensively, and you saw why. Big 3 rattled in by Child.
They don't go away.
They're not going away for sure. 102-91.
Yeah, both teams in the bonus now, so we're going to see a lot of free throws late as they really try and ramp it up and slow the game down. You see this in basketball often. Teams at the end of games fouling, stop the clock and give themselves a chance to make shots at the other end.
56.3 seconds remaining, not 3.3 seconds as we see on the game clock. We're into the final minute of action here at the Worthing Leisure Centre, and Ishmael Fontaine will go to the foul line for the Thunder.
Yeah, nice night for Ish. Got himself 15 points. He's at the line again. Really, really solid contributions with some key players missing.
Absolutely, shooting 5 for 8 from the field. 3 for 3 now from the line. He's a 71% foul shooter from last season. And for a career around the 72-73% mark as he misses the second. Winter, Child. Good defense there from Dixon. Good hands as well, but Rebels still keep hold of it. Dixon, though, gets it back. Nice pass there from Sunderland.
Hey!
And there's the dunk for Dixon.
Exclamation point on the game.
And even though Jordan Gray made his 3, Ross Norfolk had called a timeout long ago. As you see the Worthing fans on their feet.
And that's great hustle from Dixon to get his hand in the passing lane. Nice pass from Jack that we're going to see on the replay shortly. And Dixon punches it home.
And Jared Dixon, who got an offensive interference for his dunk attempt earlier, missed the handle, and it hung on the rim, made no mistake for the second time. A quiet 16 points for Jared Dixon tonight to go with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. But he's had a solid night, as you see there. Really going for the dunk.
Yeah, really good contribution from Jared. Like you say, a kind of quiet 16, but he's been there when they've needed him. There's been some possessions late when they haven't had too much going, and they've lent on him to create one-on-one and get to the bucket or create looks for their shooters. And that's what you need out of your import players and your key players. When the shot clock's running down and you haven't been able to create, you need those guys to beat a man one-on-one and make something happen. He's been able to do that today.
41.2 seconds remaining in this game. It's been a very fast-paced game, especially in the first quarter. Of course, Worthing put up 39 points, thanks to 20 of those coming from Tom Ward. But Essex have weathered the storm. They've fought back and have made it an exciting finish. Gray from the corner, that's way off. And Essex's resistance, you feel, is now wearing down as Thunder run the clock out. Boland into the game for the first time, strings a 3 from the corner.
Yeah, Nick Boland, he's a great shooter, local player. Good to see him get on the floor and get his points on the board.
Based in Brighton, played a little bit at the Solent Kestrel's second team. Of course, they play in NBL 2. And for the first time, Ben Crassy, a junior, will come into the game for the Thunder, and also into the game Kai Nichols, as Hafiz Abdul will take a seat and Ishmael Fontaine will also take a seat. Great to have Kai Nichols and Ben Crassy into the game. Local youth talent around the 17-year-old mark. Only added to the squad with half an hour to spare, but making their contribution in the final 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's nice to see them get on the court. Hopefully it gives them confidence going into practice next week as Thunder will wind this one down. And a great win tonight for Worthing.
They were made to work for their victory here tonight, but Worthing Thunder get off the mark here in the National Basketball League Division 1, a 108-91 victory over the Essex Rebels, who were trailing by 31 points at the half, but really made it a compelling ending here on the South Coast. Tom Ward with 29 points to lead the Worthing Thunder off 11 for 17 shooting, and Hafiz Abdul with a double-double of 26 points and 15 rebounds. Tom Child with 29 points on 9 for 22 shooting, leading the way for the Rebels. Jordan Gray, with 22 points supporting him. A strong second half by the Rebels. They never gave up. They battled hard, but Worthing getting the win here tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit, too little, too late kind of thing. 30-point lead at the half. It's always tough to come back from that, but as we said, their ability to make a run in the second half, fantastic, and they'll take confidence from that. And going into their next games, they just need to start that way and try to start faster earlier on. Defense was poor in the first quarter. They need to play with the same tempo, but limit teams. 39 points in the first quarter is always going to be a tough ask to come back from,
Absolutely, and for Thunder, without Zaire Taylor, without George Ebanks, without Howard Crawford, who was on the bench tonight, but didn't suit up. A good performance by them, short-handed, but getting the win here today.
Yeah, they've put up 108 points, and they're missing arguably their two best players or their two most important players, as well as George Ebanks. This team is stacked full of talent. If this team can gel as they did tonight throughout the season, they're right up there to compete and beat anybody this year. And look for them to be at the top of Division 1, there or thereabouts, if they play this way and they add those guys to the roster.
And that ends our coverage of NBL Live as we tip off a 14-game schedule. Of course, we'll be back on the 30th of October when the Bristol Flyers meet Anglia Ruskin University in WNBL Division 1 action. I've been John Hobbs alongside my guest Ian Berry. Good night, everybody.